Hi, and welcome to my video project, Building Better Mentors. My name is Meredith. This is me. I'm a graduate student at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and I've created this 6-part video series designed to support early childhood educators who are mentoring or supporting newer members of the early childhood workforce. I've worked in this field for a long time, and I've seen how important it can be for educators to have somebody they can turn to. They need someone who can listen, offer encouragement, share ideas, and help them work through challenges that they have. Starting a new job in early childhood can be really exciting, but it can also be really overwhelming. New teachers have a lot of things going on at once. They're learning about their classrooms. They're trying to build relationships with the children and with their families. They're learning how to work with new colleagues, and they're figuring out how to navigate all the demands of the profession. Having a supportive and experienced colleague there to help them can really make a big difference. But being an experienced teacher doesn't automatically mean that we know how to be an effective mentor. Mentoring is more than just giving advice, telling someone how you would handle a situation. Effective mentoring is more about building relationships, listening, providing constructive feedback, and helping another teacher develop confidence and learn how to find solutions on their own. That's what this series is all about. Over the next 6 videos, we're going to explore some practical strategies for becoming a more intentional and effective mentor. We're going to talk about building trust, how to use reflective questioning, supporting teachers through challenges, giving meaningful feedback, and how to help others grow and develop as future leaders in the early childhood profession. You don't have to consider yourself an expert, and you don't have to have all the answers to be a good mentor. The goal of this series is to give you some tools and strategies that you can use in your everyday interaction with other teachers. As you watch each video, think about your own experiences. What has worked well when you've supported other teachers? What has been challenging? Is there something from this video that you could try in your own practice? All right, let's get started. We're going to start with a basic question. What exactly is mentoring? We use the word mentor a lot in education, but mentoring can look different depending on where you are and who is involved. At its core, mentoring is a relationship in which a more experienced person provides support, guidance, encouragement, and opportunities for professional growth to someone who is less experienced. Now, the word I want to emphasize is relationship. Mentoring isn't just about passing along information or telling someone what to do. It's about developing a relationship where another teacher feels comfortable asking questions, talking through their challenges, sharing concerns, and learning from someone else's experiences. A good mentor can be someone who says, "I've been there. Let's talk about it." They can help a new educator see their strengths when they may be focused on everything they feel they're doing wrong. They can share their own experiences, help someone think through a difficult situation, and encourage them to try something new. Ultimately, the goal isn't for the mentee to become exactly like the mentor. The goal is to help the mentee become a confident, capable, and reflective educator in their own right. Let's take a minute to talk about what mentoring is not. First of all, mentoring is not simply giving advice. As an experienced teacher, you have a lot of knowledge to share, and there will absolutely be times when giving someone advice is appropriate. But if every conversation starts with, "Here's what you need to do," you might be missing an opportunity to help a teacher develop their own problem-solving skills. Mentoring also isn't about having all the answers. Sometimes a mentor's most valuable response isn't an answer at all. It might be a question. Like, instead of saying, You should try a visual schedule. Maybe you would ask, what do you think is making the transition difficult for the children? So this gives the teacher a chance to think about what they're seeing and try to come up with possible solutions. Mentoring also isn't about fixing somebody. A new educator doesn't need to be fixed. They need support as they develop their own skills, confidence, and professional identity. It's also important to understand how mentoring is different from coaching and supervision. These are three approaches that are used a lot in this profession, and they can look kind of similar, but they have different purposes. Mentoring is generally focused on professional growth and development. A mentor might help a newer educator navigate challenges, develop confidence, or set goals. Coaching is more often focused on developing a particular skill or improving in a certain area of practice. For example, a coach might observe a teacher interacting with a child, give them some feedback, help them choose a goal, and then work with them to try a new strategy. Coaching can certainly be part of a mentoring relationship, but mentoring often has a broader scope than coaching. Supervision is different because it involves keeping accountability and evaluating their performance. A supervisor is responsible for things like expectations and job performance, and then addressing concerns if an employee isn't meeting the expectations. So mentoring, coaching, and supervision. A simple way to differentiate them is mentoring supports professional growth, coaching develops specific skills, and supervision provides accountability. Sometimes these roles can overlap, but understanding the difference can help us be more intentional about how we support other teachers. Now let's think about what an effective mentor actually does. There are many qualities that can make someone a good mentor. In this series, we're going to focus on 5. First, listen. A good mentor takes the time to understand what the other person is actually experiencing. It's really easy to hear a problem and immediately start thinking about how you want to solve it. But sometimes the most important thing you can do is just listen. Second, build trust. A new educator needs to feel really comfortable being honest with their mentor. They need to be able to say, I don't know how to do this, or I am really struggling, without the fear of being judged. And trust doesn't happen after one conversation. It's built over time through consistency, respect, confidentiality, and following through on what you say you're going to do. Third, ask questions. Good questions can help people think about their experiences in new ways. You don't have to be the person with all the answers. Remember, the goal is to help the teacher develop their ability to reflect and solve problems. Fourth, share your own experiences. You've been working in the field for a long time and experienced a lot of situations, and your knowledge is valuable, and sharing what you've learned can be really helpful. Just remember, be intentional about when you share your experiences and allow the other teacher to decide what they want to try. Finally, encourage growth. An effective mentor helps someone recognize their strengths and find areas they want to improve. Sometimes new educators see everything they're doing wrong and don't recognize how much they're actually doing well. A mentor can help. You could say, I noticed how calmly you handled that situation with the child. What do you think helped you stay calm? That kind of conversation doesn't just give someone a compliment, it helps them recognize their strength and think about how they can use that strength in the future. Now, let's think about a real-life example. A new teacher comes to you and says, I feel like I can't get my class to come in from outside without everything falling apart. Now, immediately, you might think of some solutions that worked for you. Maybe you used a 5-minute warning, or maybe you used a song. You could say, you should try giving them a 5-minute warning. That always worked for me. And that might be helpful, but let's try approaching this from a mentor. Maybe instead you say, that sounds really frustrating. Tell me more about what happens before you transition. And the teacher might say, they just don't seem to want to stop playing, and then everyone starts running around and they won't clean up. You can ask them what strategies they've tried so far, and maybe they'll say, I've tried telling them it's time to clean up, but they just don't listen. Now you have an opportunity to ask them to think about some possible strategies. You could ask, what do you think might happen if you gave them a 5-minute warning before cleanup? And maybe at that point you can share your experiences and what worked for you. Do you see the difference? You're still sharing your experience and offering a suggestion, but you're also giving them the opportunity to think and reflect and participate in the problem-solving process. Okay, before the next video, I want you to think about a time when someone came to you with a problem or asked you for help. Ask yourself, did I listen before offering a solution? Did I ask any questions? Did I give the person an opportunity to come up with their own ideas? Did I share my experiences in a way that supported their growth? I want you to remember, being an effective mentor doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean being perfect, and it doesn't mean having more experience than everyone else. It means you're willing to listen, build trust, ask questions, share your experiences, and support someone else's growth. In the next video, we're going to take a closer look at building trust. We'll talk about how mentors can create relationships so other teachers feel comfortable coming to them for help and learning from their mistakes. I'll see you there.